transit running on time and has about 1 million matches on Tinder. Although, judging by the framed picture of him on her desk, he could be the stock model used in advertisements for plain bread and mayo. I keep my expression deadpan as I turn back to my keyboard and type. Hello, Rhonda. Thanks very much for reminding me about the meeting. I must say, your reminder is so much more personal and well-received than the default one that the computer gives. I almost feel that one is pointless when I've got you in my corner. Best regards, Jolene. Adding extra sugar to the part that's visible helps make the invisible part so much more satisfying. I change the font to white and type the stuff that's just for me. P.S. Deep in my core, I find you insufferable. There are times when you're on the phone fake laughing or retelling someone the same story about your toenail surgery that make me consider joining a cult as a preferable alternative to staying here with you. Also, I'm fairly certain you can't legally brag about your son since you named him Carl. As I click send, I halt my breath. The rush of adrenaline hits as a flutter in my abdomen. It's a safe high since she won't actually see the message. The knot in my chest loosens. This is truly the second-best coping mechanism to survive the peril that is my colleagues. I creak out of my chair to begin the walk to the boardroom. Rhonda's shimmery nails continue to clack across the keyboard as she peeps up at me from beside the corner of her screen. I smile politely in her general direction. As I pass behind Caitlin's desk, the scent of the vanilla icing hand cream she applies 17 times daily wafts my way, microdosing my irritation. The same scent always transfers to the documents and envelopes she handles like a dog marking her territory. She tilts her chin toward me and gives this little brow raise, but doesn't look directly at me. Something uncertain bubbles in the pit of my chest. She's been watching me all day, and I trust her less than my Wish.com recommendations. Caitlin and I have worked adjacent to each other for 3 years in the same admin role. We were destined to be best friends, but because of who we are as people, our years of forced proximity have instead culminated in a specific form of petty hatred. The problem is, Caitlin tries way too hard. She's still talking about how this job is a jumping-off point for her to step into a larger role at Super Shops, while I gave up on that notion after less than a year here. Her violations include CCing Gregory when she notices any of my errors, in case it becomes a relevant pattern, which is a good point, and I've made sure to include him when calling out her mistakes too. Forgetting to add my mug when she runs the dishwasher. I can never find space for hers either. And interrogating me when her yogurt goes missing from the office fridge, as if Blueberry Dannon is something I'd mess with. It's reached a healthy point where our only communication is via curt emails, and we gleefully mix up anything the other sends to the printer. It's unfortunate, because I like to think I support my fellow women in the office. Or at least I stay out of their way as much as everyone else. More lifeless eyes seem to pull toward me from each cubicle I pass. I curl my arms around myself to limit how much I'm perceived. I catch my reflection in a glass door and jolt at my frizzy brown hair and puffy eyes. I may be entitled to compensation for that. It's not that I'm a terrible-looking person, but I haven't slept well this week, and I always seem to look my worst when I don't expect myself. And it's not like I care about making a great impression here. This is not one of those cool places to work with free snacks or standing desks or nap pods. My office is sort of like a recent time capsule. If someone wanted to travel 7 to 9 years into the past, they could come view our poster of men eating lunch on a plank, the fax machine still plugged into the wall, and the sagging yoga ball chairs. We politely ignore the decade-old coffee stains on the industrial carpeting near Larry's coffee maker and the fact that Larry sleeps here a few times a year. When I reach the dusty bird of paradise plant that Rhonda snuck into the office 5 years ago that's both plastic and dying, a familiar dread sets in. I take a breath and open the door to the boardroom. Seated closest to the entrance is my boss, Gregory. He's got the same hair as a golden retriever and dresses in clothes that were likely issued by someone who got them during a rushed grocery shop. And at least once a month, he mentions that he championed getting the